After a wonderful and delicious visit to Paris, it was sadly time to depart. If you've never visited France or it's on your bucket list, stop waiting, just go. You'll not be sorry. The French people are beautiful, the wine's delectable, and the food, second to none. On this day, I took the metro to Gare du Nord and then the train to the airport. Or so I thought. When I got to Gare du Nord, I discovered that there were maintenance works been done on the tracks. As such, I had to catch a train to another station, then walk a distance to catch a bus to Charles de Gaulle. Being a neurotic hypochondriac that I am, even though I didn't know about this delay, I'm thankful that I gave myself a lot of time to get to the airport. When we arrived, they dumped us in a single location and it was up to us to make our way to the correct terminal. No instructions, no one around to assist. Not an issue for me, but I noticed a number of elderly passengers who were completely lost. They were headed to the same terminal as I, so I asked them to follow me. For today's flight with SriLankan Airlines, we're departing from Terminal 1. Terminal 1 consists of a 10-story circular brutalist concrete structure. Meant to resemble an octopus, the central building is comprised of 3 main levels organised into arrivals, departures and other services. To change levels and access the piers, passengers use one of the 3 suspended angled transparent tubes that provide moving walkways in the open central area. G'day gorgeous people, welcome back to my channel. It is a sad, bittersweet day. I am leaving Paris, France, and it really hurts me to the core to leave this city. It's one of the most beautiful cities in the world. I've had the most incredible, delicious time here. But I have to leave. But I am going to Colombo in Sri Lanka. So I'm trying SriLankan Airlines on their Airbus A330 in their business class product, and I'm very, very excited because I'm a foodie and I've only heard amazing things about the food on this aircraft. And I hear that their local prawn or fish curry is mind-blowing. So I'm genuinely excited to try that. It's an interesting flight because we're departing Charles de Gaulle here in Paris, and then we have a technical refueling stop in Frankfurt for 1 or 2 hours, and then we continue on to Colombo in Sri Lanka. Upon which I have a 19-hour transit before a 9-hour and 40-minute or 10-hour flight to Melbourne, and then I'm home. Oh, I love this smoking space. It's open, it's very retro Jetsons-like, and it's great. It's my last breath of French air, of Parisian air. I will see you at the Extime lounge for brunch. I haven't had breakfast yet, so I think it's going to be brunch. It's going to be potentially déjeuner, so I'll see you in there. The French know fashion, and it is clear they also understand architecture and interior design. Built in 1974, it is a seamless blend of avant-garde design with contemporary luxury. If you love retail therapy or fancy bit of window shopping, then Charles de Gaulle is the airport for you. All the top tier labels are here, so shop to your heart's content. I'm not a shopper, so I made a beeline for the Extime lounge for a bite to eat before my flight. As a number of airline lounges are still under renovations, at the time of this video, the Extime lounge caters for quite a few different airlines. Being a foodie, my favourite part of any lounge visit is definitely the F&B sections. As it's still morning, the breakfast spread is tempting me for a feast. There are several sweet dessert options like macarons and friands, brownies, tiramisu and panna cotta. Fresh fruits were also available. The lounge had a buffet of cold foods such as ham, cheese and salmon, which didn't look that appetizing, salads, bread, croissant and other buffets for hot food, which for breakfast included things like noodle soup and congee. As for drinks, there is basically everything you could expect. Fresh juice, water, soft drinks, coffee, tea. As it was still morning, I steered clear from the alcohol, but there was a lot to choose from. Wine, champagne, beer, gin, vodka, and other basic spirits. I've had the most amazing time in Scotland, England, Paris. The food has been mind-blowing. First time to France and culinary explosion. However, as you can see, I've got congee, I've got porridge, I've got moi. It is so good to have some comfort food. I will admit though, it's probably not the best. The last time I had moi this basic, so it's just really boiled rice. And then you add the accoutrements, you add the accompaniments to it. The last time I had something this plain was at a funeral where they serve you just boiled rice and you add everything to it. It would have been amazing if we had like century egg, fish, more soy, fresh chilies, but you know what? I'm Charles de Gaulle Airport. I'm not going to expect that. So, itadakimasu. the shallots, give it extra flavour. Add a lot of chili oil, a lot of soy. I also added chicken. I thought those were hash browns. They look like hash browns. They're not crispy, but they almost taste like sautéed soy sauce chicken and potato that Mum used to make when I was a kid. It is really nice. It is not a hash brown because it's not crispy on the outside. And of course, I cannot leave France without having more fromage. The Comté and Brie. Oh my lord, my favourite cheeses. And I'm a big kid. I've become addicted to Orangina. Like, I've been having it every single day. Oh, it's so sweet. Can't leave France without having macarons and a friand. Right, brie. Passion fruit. With the creme caramel. As always, lounge time always seems to fly by. Heading to gate 31, I saw our flight and cabin crews waiting for boarding. The female cabin crew look iconic in their trademark peacock embellished Kandian saris. There's simply nothing more striking than seeing the cabin crew wishing you a heartfelt Ayubowan. SriLankan Airlines is the national carrier for one of the most beautiful countries in the world and was founded in the 1970s with only 2 Boeing 707s. Today, they have a fleet of 23 aircrafts comprising of Airbus A330s and Airbus A320s and 321s, serving 112 destinations around the world. I'm a plane spotter and I absolutely love the mix of airlines, airframes and liveries at Charles de Gaulle Airport. From my little airport in Melbourne, Australia, we never get to see such beauties. Charles de Gaulle Terminal 1 was only reopened in December 2020 after an ambitious 3-year renovation in preparation for the upcoming 2024 Summer Olympics. The new design is a nod to the 1920s Parisian cabarets and bistros. Not only are the red and green sofas and chairs stunningly gorgeous, but they are passenger focused with USB-A, USB-C and European power sockets on every seat and liberally sprawled across all flat surfaces. Look here, even more charging ports, better than even my favourite airport in the world, Singapore Changi Airport.
This line is only for the business class, please. Economy class is just behind, please.
SriLankan Airline logo has the colours red, green and orange, representing the ethnicities Sinhalese, Tamil and Muslim. The 2 shades of blue in the SriLankan Airlines wording symbolise the sky and the sea that surrounds the beautiful island.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Hi, how are you?
Welcome on board SriLankan Airlines flagship Airbus A330-300, which is arranged in 7 rows of 4 seats in a 1-2-1 reverse herringbone config. Today, I am seat 2A, which is on the left-hand side. With a seat pitch of 78 inches and width of 21 inches, there is ample legroom. In the sitting position, it is comfortable with plenty of padding. The seats are upholstered in teal-coloured leather with cream trims and headrests. A pillow was already placed at the seat at boarding and is relatively fluffy. I'm 5'8" and the footwell is comfortable without being too restrictive, which I found to be an issue on Singapore Airlines A350 business class product. At shoulder level, you will find a bright LED reading light and an in-flight entertainment controller. There is also a USB-A port, headphone port, seat controller, and a universal power outlet. This, by the way, is the headphone hook. I originally thought it was the coat hook, but I never claimed to be smart. The in-flight entertainment screen is 15.4 inches and it's also touch enabled. There were plenty of TV shows, movies, audio shows, a moving map, and front and downward facing live cameras. There is also an armrest that must remain stowed for taxi, takeoff and landing, but can be released after takeoff. The magazine tray is right next to your feet and you must bend down to take any collateral, so this could be an issue for back problems. Anyone else enjoyed reading the safety instructions as much as I do? This pamphlet on how to treat the cabin crew really saddened me. Has society degraded so much that the airline had to resort to telling people how to and how not to treat another person? I've always said that being a cabin crew is a thankless job, and I always personally try to make their lives easier, and am very thankful for all that they do. The tray table extends from the side of the seat and swings out in a folded position. Whilst not the largest, it is incredibly stable and had no issues holding my 16-inch MSI laptop. The area above the table folds away. I would like to thank SriLankan Airlines for continuing to have air vents. So many airlines have gone away with them, and as a person who always burns hot, thank you very much. Just in case you've been living under a rock or traveled through time from the distant past, this is how you put on your seatbelt. I know, I'm struggling a bit. That's good, OJ.
Welcome all passengers who are joining on board SriLankan Airlines flight UL 501 from Charles de Gaulle to Frankfurt, then onwards to Colombo. Flight time is going to be 50 minutes. It's a short flight and we'll be cruising at 19,000 feet. Between the flight like this, Senior First Officer Unity Gunasekara, who is going to be a co-pilot, will be flying this sector. And in the cabin we have Pursa Fayaz Marikara together with his beautiful team, who's going to be in charge of in-flight safety and cabin entertainment. Glad to say that all the passengers are on board. Just waiting for the last minute cargo loading. Closing doors shortly. We'll be commencing our pushback in the next 10 minutes. Getting airborne towards the easterly direction, runway 09 right. As we get airborne, we'll be establishing on a standard instrument departure, which will take us to the easterly route towards Belgium, tracking over Luxembourg, then continuing into Frankfurt. For those passengers who are interested in the progress of the flight plan route, which will be displayed in the screens in front of you, and for those who have personal monitors, that will be displayed on Sky Channel. Weather route is mostly fine and we're expecting a comfortable flight all the way. As we get airborne, I'll be switching on seatbelt signs, but stretch your legs, and I advise you to remain seated whenever possible with your seatbelt nooses secured, just in case if you find unexpected after flat turbulence. Weather forecast for Frankfurt is fine. Frankfurt is forecasting a northeasterly breeze up to about 15 kilometers per hour. Very good visibility. Some light patches of cloud cover scattered over the airfield. Temperature is forecasting at 24 degrees Celsius. As we approach Frankfurt, just quite a bit in the distance, Hiruni will be speaking to you.
Request all passengers to have your seatbelts fastened at the bus stop and your seat backs adjusted to the right position. Once again, I remind you to switch off all mobile phones now. Thank you.
Once we reached cruising altitude, everyone settled in for the 50-minute flight to Frankfurt. The lady next to me started reading her book in the Extime lounge and actually finished it before we landed in Colombo. As this was such a short flight, catering on the sector was limited to this bottle of water. Now that we've reached cruising altitude, I put my armrest up and my seat down. I barely had time to get comfortable before we started our descent into Frankfurt. In honor of Jaden, this is how you use the headrest. Flying over Frankfurt, we're coming in for one of the smoothest landings I've ever had. I actually thought Frankfurt was a technical stop purely for refueling, but turns out passengers did disembark and a few came on. Interestingly, there was no sign that we would get any service whilst on the ground until I heard my neighbours ask the cabin crew for something to eat. Well, I did the same and asked the cabin crew for a snack and got this yummy turkey sandwich. You can tell this was made in France as the bread was so good. A cleaning crew came on board and took rubbish away and vacuumed. All I will say is that clearly we're not paid to be friendly, and they just grunted at passengers to raise their feet as they came by with their vacuum. I couldn't handle the high-pitched frequency of the vacuum cleaners, so I just unpacked my headphones and put them on without plugging them in. The cabin crew then went around and handed packets of Sri Lankan branded socks, good quality eye masks, and slippers.
Never had anything like this before. It tastes like coconut water, like from coconut, but there's something else in it. I love this. It's meant to be really good for replenishing your electrolytes, so really good for long flights. There's coconut flesh in there as well. That's my new favourite airline drink.
Cabin crew, be seated for takeoff.
I really apologise for the speed and shakiness of my lavatory visit footage. There is a huge crack in the mirror with tape over it to prevent further breakage. The lavatory is a standard Airbus A330 space with an average range of amenities for a premium cabin. It is showing its age somewhat and could do with a bit of a deeper clean. Standard amenities include dental and shaving kits, mouthwash, moisturiser and eau de toilette. Hanging on the wall is a hand sanitizer for your use. Wow, okay, so I assume you all got whiplash from how quick I filmed that lavatory visit? Now, let's slow down a bit. The cabin crew came round and handed out an Aigner branded amenity kit containing toothbrush and toothpaste, earplugs, tissues, body lotion, lip balm, and a hairbrush. The area above where the table folds away is the only significant flat surface. Wow, look at this view. Who needs IFE? The first of 2 meals on this flight has begun. And of course, I start with a cheeky gin and tonic. Oh, the cashews were warmed and they were so Moorish. The cabin crew said that I looked like I was enjoying the gin and tonic so much that she gave me a second glass without prompting. Oh my goodness, look at this meal. I'm speechless. I wish there was smell-o-vision because the scent from this chicken curry and the rice is incredible. I have been in Europe obviously way too long because all of this smells tantalizing. I'm so excited to fly SriLankan Airlines because I've heard amazing things about the catering and it hasn't disappointed. The smell is incredible. I've already had 2 glasses of gin and tonic. I asked the cabin crew and they said that try a white wine to pair with the chicken curry. I've had 2 plates of cashew nuts which are lovely warmed. Now I'm going to start off with an entree. We've got smoked salmon. You know I love seafood. Oh, there's a prawn, there's a bit of salmon. I think that's seaweed. That's seaweed. I think that's seaweed. Let's try that. Got some garlic bread. Garlicky. Sauce blanc. Oh, that's lovely. Now, let's try that curry. I'm going to try a little bit of that rice. I love rice. Like, I live off rice. That's why I look the way I do. It's yellow rice, so that's either coloured with turmeric or saffron. Oh, it's turmeric basmati rice. It is so flavourful. And there's even curry leaves on top. And then we've got curried green beans. Oh my god. It is so flavorful. It is spicy. Spicy as in there's lots of herbs and spices, not spicy as in hot. It is an incredible green bean curry. You know, it's not too dissimilar to the curry you have when you have like a dal. And then potatoes. I mean, who doesn't love potatoes? I suppose those of us on keto. Now the chicken. This is the chicken curry. SriLankan curry is one of the best in the world. It is so flavorful. It is quite mild. mild, so it's not that spicy. Oh, that is so good. And it pairs perfectly with the Sauv Blanc because the sweetness from the Sauv Blanc just complements that richness and spiciness of the curry. Really good. I like strong teas and this is beautiful. I love the doilies. It's old school, but I love it. And the chocolate cake. Chocolate and I are best friends. And when the catering is done out of Germany, you know their chocolate cake is going to be good. I am exceptionally full. 2 plates of cashews, 2 gin and tonics, 1 Sauv Blanc, 1 cup of tea, 1 chocolate cake, 1 curry with rice, beans and potatoes, cheese, biscuits, bread, garlic bread. I am very full, but very happy. It is late, I had an early start in Paris and it's time for bed. At boarding, there wasn't a blanket waiting for me on the seat, nor was one offered later. I could have actually asked the crew for a blanket, but the cabin temperature was so warm, I didn't need one. In fact, I was sweating a little bit. Sadly, this seat was not the most comfortable for slumber. The back panel had a metal ridge protruding which kept poking into my back. I didn't know if it was an actual fault with the seat or merely its design. If there was a mattress topper, it would have solved this problem.
Breakfast is served and I selected the vegetarian option, and that's the masala dosa, which is a popular South Indian breakfast with a crispy crack made of fermented rice and lentil batter, served with flavorful spice filling, presented with the urundu vada, an urud dal fritter, coconut chutney and vegetable sambar. We've got some yogurt. Let's have a little taste. It tastes exactly like a strawberry Yoplait yogurt, which is very sweet, almost confectionery-like. This curry is going to be incredible. I'm going to have a little taste of this vegetarian curry. I can see curry leaves in here. There's carrots, potatoes, dal. If this doesn't wake you up in the morning, nothing will. Oh my god. That is seriously such a flavorful curry. And it goes so well. Oh, it's filled. That's a filling. Look. Can you see that? It's actually a filling. Oh. Okay, so you're meant to eat this with a sambar, which is this white stuff. It's got a slight sourness, ever so slightly. So good. That filling just gives it a nice little flavor. You can eat it by itself. Oh, I don't know what's in that sambar, but I think there's dried chili in that. Is it vade or vade? And that's what we call it back in Singapore and Malaysia. It's like a savoury donut. And then I'm going to dunk it into that amazing dal. Oh, that's amazing. Look, I can't speak for the other breakfasts, but if you have the opportunity, have the vegetarian option. Now, do not be turned off by the fact that it's vegetarian. It is so jam-packed full of flavour. That dal is incredible. It's so flavourful. It is not spicy at all. Compare that with the perfect Ceylon tea.
අලුයම 5ක් පසුයි විනාඩි 45යි. උෂ්ණත්වය සෙල්සියස් 25යි. කරුණාකර අස්පර්ශානාව ඉවත් වන තුරු ආසනවල නැගී සිටින්න. ඔබගේ ආසනයට නතරක් විවෘත කිරීමේදී එවැනි බහන්න පහත නැගී වැඩිමේදී ඇතිහිම ඉගෙන සැලකිලිමත් වන්න. කරුණාකර ඔබ සතුටුයි.
Welcome to Colombo Airport. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible flight. I enjoyed flying SriLankan Airlines and I will definitely be flying them again. Join me next time as I spend the next 19 hours here in the Colombo Airport, followed by a 10-hour flight back to Melbourne, Australia. Thank you so much. Hooroo!
19 hours. I have 19-hour transit here in Colombo International Airport. Why do we keep eating that chili? It's going to be bad for me.